Hi guys, welcome back to another video. So it's been a couple of weeks since I last did a video, and I thought I'd do something a little bit different this week. So this was actually a video I wanted to do probably about a month ago. Um, so it's basically just asking the question, what the fuck is going on at Brewdog? Um, I didn't get a chance to do the video when I wanted to do it about a month ago, but it seems like every week since there has been another story coming out about Brewdog and just, it's just negative stories and things that just don't look great for the company as a whole. Um, so what has been happening? So if we go back to July, and this is when I first wanted to do the video, and there was the news that came out that Brewdog was more or less closing 10 bars with immediate effect. One of them being their flagship Aberdeen bar, and another one, big one of theirs, was their first London bar, which was the Camden bar. So apparently, like, they were just being sort of closed that week. Staff were just Some staff were just basically given a few days' notice. So that wasn't good. And as I say, I wanted to do the video then, talk a bit about that. But then a couple of weeks after that, there was the news that came out then that nearly 2,000 bars were stopping selling Brewdog beers, which was a massive, massive blow to the company. Um, I think probably they're kind of relying now on the likes of Witherspoon selling their Brewdog beers, Punk and Hazy G and things like that. So I mean, if they lose them, then it's definitely not looking good. The other thing I think what was happening there though is, I mean, they've decided these bars to stock the likes of Beavertown and Camden instead. So I mean, we all know that those two companies were bought out. Heineken bought out Beavertown, and I think it was the company that owns Budweiser. I think they bought the Camden one. Could be wrong, but I need to just double check on that. But I mean, it's just a case really of the big boys pushing out the smaller ones. Although you probably couldn't call Brewdog small anymore. I mean, they've grown into a massive brand, and in some ways have probably been a victim of their own success. Um, so then that was followed quickly by the news that Martin Dickey, the co-founder and CEO, was stepping down completely from his role and just leaving the company. Um, so he had stated that it was for personal reasons and a couple of other reasons, but I mean, the timing of it and everything, just it all just seems to it just seems to point that there's a lot more going on than what we're being sort of fed or what we know about. So yeah, that was a big blow as well for them. And then just recently, in the last couple of days, they've posted that they've had another massive loss over the last year. I think it was like £37 million loss. And yeah, I mean, that's not good, because I think over the last couple of years, I mean, they've been talking about each year losses of 50 million 2 years ago, and then 3 years ago something similar. So yeah, it's not good. It's not looking good. And I mean, I am a Brewdog fan. I bought shares in Brewdog a few years ago. I'm not really worried about losing the shares or anything like that, because to be honest, they're not really worth an awful lot. But I mean, they do get you sort of discounts and perks just for being an EFP member. So that was the reason we kind of bought them at the time. Um, so I'll go back as far as probably maybe COVID. That's when I really sort of got into craft beer and Brewdog in particular. Um, just with being in lockdown, we kind of just started with experimenting not with craft beers, and there was a lot of subscription services and orders that you could get. So there was one in particular, it was Brewdog and Friends, a subscription. So it was really, really good. Every month you got like four different beers. You got eight in total, two of each. Um, and they did collabs with other breweries, and it was all good. It was great. You looked forward to these new exciting beers that was coming every month, trying out these different things. And I think that was the thing at the start that kind of got us into BrewDog as well. I mean, they had so many different beers, and it was brilliant. I mean, they did the likes of the layer cake, which was like a pastry stout, and they had like Tony's Hopaloni sort of collab where they had like a beer with them, and just such a massive variety at the time. But all those just gradually over time started to fall away. They stopped doing those, discontinued them. Um, they stopped the subscription service. It just became just just dead in the water. So over since I suppose when we come out of lockdown, there was the sort of cost of living crisis came in, energy bills was going up. People had a lot of money during lockdown. Things was cheap. Nobody could spend money, and then after lockdown, energy prices just went through the roof. So there was a lot of breweries just didn't even make it over those couple of years then. And I can understand that a company like Brewdog has had to make cuts along the way. Um, it feels just like the cuts that they're making, it's just not in the right places, if you know what I mean. They say, I'll talk about the beer in a moment. I mean, when you start tinkering with your product like that, your beer, it's not going to go unnoticed. Um, they did open a lot of bars and hotels and stuff, and I suppose they did buy out a lot of sort of pubs as well at the time. So I mean, they probably went big, really, really fast, and then whenever cost of living crisis hit, it's obviously going to have a massive effect. Um, Also, I mean, I don't really want to go into too much detail about James Watt, to be honest. I know he was the co-founder and CEO, and he stepped down from his role of CEO a couple of years ago. Um, but he's still heavily involved. He's still a major shareholder, and I think he's a director and calls himself the captain. So my opinion of him is he's just not the most likable of people. He comes across as a bit sort of arrogant, and yeah, I just wouldn't be that keen on him. And I think the problem is when people see Brewdog, they see James Watt, they think of James Watt, and I think that's a problem. Even though he has taken a back seat, there's just still that connection that people can't get away from. Um, I think I mean, at the start, the company started off brilliant ideas, had all this sort of ideas for like forests, and there was the anti-establishment sort of thing that they were doing, which was a bit quirky and people sort of got on board with. But just over time, I mean, there's been a few documentaries that have come out and that, and I mean, as I say, I don't want to sort of go into too much about James Watt, but I mean, yeah, I mean, the way they've treated staff over the last couple of years hasn't been great. I mean, we've been to quite a few bars and a few of the hotels, and I have to say now every single place that we've went to, the staff have been brilliant. They've been really, really good, really, really friendly. Apart from one time we went to Dublin, we had a not so nice experience with somebody there, but we got that resolved anyway. But overall, yeah, can't fault the staff. So yeah, I mean, there was a couple of years ago whenever their pay was sort of frozen as well, the living wage, and things like that. It was just bad publicity for the company as a whole. Um, it still has a lot going for it. I don't want to be completely sort of knocking it down and negative, because I do still drink the beers. I still drink Hazy Jane. It's still one of my favourite beers. I do enjoy the Punk IPA. So, but I suppose that the problem is they're just focusing most of their sales now around the likes of the headliners, as they call them, which is your Punk and your Blackheart and your Hazy Janes, and they don't really seem to be, just trying to create something new. I mean, this is probably where for me Brewdog is at the moment. So this is their Wingman Session IPA. So this came out about 2 years ago, 2023, and what it really is it's Planet Pale that they used to have, just rebranded, slightly reformulated. So the Planet Pale wasn't really doing that well. So what they did was they went away and they just put a different can on it. And they've really been pushing this Wingman now for the last couple of years. This seems to be what they're focusing a lot of their sales on. Um, I mean, I'll give it a wee taste here. I mean, I've had it before, but I wasn't really blown away by it, to be honest. And yeah, I think it's where Brewdog is at the moment, unfortunately. But in saying that, I mean, Brewdog beers are still the some of the most affordable craft beers on the market. I mean, you can go into sort of any of the supermarkets, Tesco as that we have anyway, and you can sort of buy them there. If you have your club card, you can get them for maybe £13 for a box of 12, 13.50. Um, that the other thing as well, I suppose, is whenever you go to buy them online through the Brewdog store, like even though you have a 10% discount, it's still cheaper to go into like Tesco and buy them. I buy my Hazy Jane off Amazon because it's cheaper to buy it off Amazon. So I mean, I don't know. It just doesn't make sense to me. But in saying that, it still works out probably roughly about £1 ish, just over £1 for a can of craft beer, which you can't really go wrong with that. As I said before in a previous video, it actually works out cheaper than a can of Coke, for a can of beer, craft beer. So the Wingman, okay. I mean, there is really nice aromas from it. Nice citrus, sort of orange, lemon. It wouldn't be as strong, obviously, as the likes of your hazy Jane aromas, things like that. But it's still got a nice aroma, nice appeal to it. So it's appearance wise, it's little bit of a haze to it, but almost nearly sort of clear, like jello. I will say it's not awful. It is drinkable. But to be honest, I probably could only maybe drink one of them. Um, I remember getting it served by mistake whenever we were over in Rotterdam. I don't know whether they got the kegs mixed up or something. I'd asked for a hazy Jane, and they gave me a wingman. Well, I knew at the time by looking at it, I was thinking that's not a hazy Jane, but they said it was just because it came from the hazy Jane tap. So I kind of thought, okay, I'll go with it. So drank it, and then I kind of thought, right, I'll go and I'll get another hazy Jane, but hopefully maybe they'll have realised that gave me the wrong. So they poured another one, and it was the same again. So I kind of just thought, right, they've obviously put the wrong keg on, or the keg's not labelled right. So yeah, I just I struggled to sort of get through 2 pints of it, to be honest. It is it is nice, refreshing, sort of, if just as a sort of a one-off, if you wanted to have just a quick beer and then move on to something else, or if that's all that you were going to have, you know. Um, so it is a session IPA and it's 4.3%. They have brought out another Wingman. It's a Wingman Tropical, so I think it's slightly higher. ABV, and it is nice. Now I have to say it is really enjoyable. So it comes in a blue can. It's the 440 ml cans. You might see them about in likes of Tesco and that. So I mean, I am a little bit concerned about the direction that Brewdog is heading. I just hope that they don't get to the point where they sell out. I know there was stories a couple of years ago where James Watt had tried to sell some of the company to Heineken, and there was actually a meeting, and it didn't get past that first stage. I think just because James Watt's valuation of the company was just so unrealistic, Heineken at the time just walked away. Uh, but I think they're going to be under serious pressure now from their investors. I'd read that they've asked for another loan of 20 million from their investors at TSG. I mean, they're making. I don't know at what point do they just start to go, okay, right? There needs to be massive changes, or it's time to sort of sell out and move on, or I don't know. I don't know now. Whenever you see like what some of the smaller breweries are doing now, and just the innovation and ideas that they have, it's it's good to see. And I do hope that Brewdog can get back to that sort of uh, level where they're sort of bringing out more exciting beers. And yeah, like it'd be just a shame to see. I mean, they were, in terms of craft beer, they were the market leaders for a long, long time. So it would be a shame just to see them fall away. Um, I'd say I'm still a big Brewdog fan, and I'll still continue to drink their beer. So I suppose we'll see where it goes from there. Yeah, so hopefully things start to turn around and look a bit more positive and brighter. But anyway, thanks for tuning in and watching the video. If you have any comments, just stick it down below. More than happy to have a bit of a discussion about it if you like. So yeah, until next time, I'll see you for another video. So cheers.